You know, they say if you want to look more attractive to others, you should hang out with ugly people. And if you want to feel good about your station in life right now and your performance at your job, I would suggest taking a deep dive into the Carolina Panthers, especially under David Temper, aka David Tepper, the dude who took over this squad in 2018. This former hedge fund manager or current hedge fund manager clearly doesn't know anything about running a business, and it has been an absolute shit show. It has been such an NFL car wreck that I'm rubbernecking over here. I can't help myself but look at these poor results and all these horrible transactions. You know, a lot has been made of our guy Scott Barrett's tweet at fantasypoints.com. We'll get into everything that the Carolina Panthers have traded away in terms of Brian Burns, Bryce Young, Christian McCaffrey, all those trades, what it has netted them. It is absolutely repugnant. Just like the record for these Carolina Panthers under David Tepper, they are a combined 31 and 68 in the last 6 years. 6 years in a row under 500 at 2 and 5, 7 and 10, 5 and 12, 5 and 11, 5 and 11, and 7 and 9. Six head coaches in this span as well, including Dave Canales. I wasn't a big fan of the Frank Reich hire here. Like, pro tip, don't hire a coach after you're fired a bunch of other coaches who got fired himself mid-season and replaced by an analyst on television. Just FYI, David Tepper going forward. But this really has been an absolute train wreck here. Scott Fitterer, the general manager, you know, presumably came over from Seattle with a pretty good resume, personnel guy for Seattle 2011 to 2020, was around there when they drafted Richard Sherman and Bobby Wagner. But I actually went back and I looked, and the drafts otherwise in this span were not that great for Scotty F., who is obviously no longer employed by the Carolina Panthers. But I also could not help myself but go back and look at the transactions for the Carolina Panthers. And well, if you're looking to kill 8 to 10 minutes of work and get a couple of laughs and, again, feel better about your station in life, let's take a look at the transactions for the Carolina Panthers over the years. Well, we start here at the top. You signed Jake Luton, who's done nothing, but you also, in 2023, you released Matt Corral. That was an awful pick to begin with. Everyone knew he had all kinds of problems. I actually told people to bet the over in whatever round he was going to be drafted in, and that was a sure win. We do have the Bryce Young acquisition, which is not going well. We'll get to that. Jacob Eason signed and waived. Okay. They did sign Andy Dalton. That was a pretty good one in 2023. Here's the problem. They should have played Andy Dalton at least week 1 or 2. Give Bryce Young a breather here. Nope. Got to play Bryce Young. You had Andy Dalton on the sideline. Very capable. Very good hair, even though he's a ginger. No offense. It's good hair. Could have used him. You decided not to, and you may have ruined your quarterback. But let's continue. Someone named Davis Cheek was signed to the practice squad, but we also had the Baker Mayfield fiasco. You sign him, and I thought, okay, this might help DJ Moore. No, it was just a nightmare. Obviously, Baker can do well in a good situation. This clearly was not a good situation, and he was waived. Continuing, we also have the whole Sam Darnold experiment, which didn't go well. He had a couple of moments there where he flashed. We signed Cam Newton in 2021 when he was really Scam Newton. Matt Barkley. Oh, look, Love at quarterback. Unfortunately, it was the wrong Love. It was Josh Love, not Jordan Love. James Morgan. Will Greer was a bad pick. I mean, this is absolute brutality right here. Teddy B. Okay, understand what you're trying to do with Teddy Bridgewater, but no, he's a journeyman. Kyle Allen, Philip Walker, Taylor Heineke. This is just repugnant stuff. Garrett Gilbert, Kyle Allen, Connor Cook. These are the Carolina Panthers in their attempts to roster a viable quarterback. Let's take a look at running back here. Well, Tariq Cohen. I mean, look, God love him. I mean, that's a long shot, people. He hasn't played in six years. I know it's not six. It seems like six. Uh, Moving down the board here, we have a very just awful signing in, well, 1 year ago this month. Miles Sanders, the most obvious contract year exceller that we've seen in a while. And it's like, dude can't do anything, can't score a touchdown, can't, stay in one piece. And all of a sudden, oh, look, he's scoring double digit touchdowns. He's balling. Yeah. And he signs a big deal, 4 year, $25 million. And he's been absolute dog dirt ever since, basically all of last year. Yeah. Deontay Foreman. Okay. That was a pretty good pickup there in 2023, but you let him walk. You probably should have kept him around because remember, he kind of replace that McCaffrey guy you had. So that's another guy. They've done two things well, basically offensively. And one of them is drafting Christian McCaffrey. My dog could have drafted Christian McCaffrey that year. I'm scrolling, still looking for viable moves here. Royce Freeman, Amir Abdullah, Reggie Bonifin, some guy named Rodney Smith, Trenton Cannon, Chuba Hubbard. Okay, it was a pretty good, decent pick there in round number 4. They've done a bunch of different trades involving no one of note, by the way, because unless your name is DJ Moore or Christian McCaffrey, if you've come through the building in Carolina, you're probably not very good at football. Let's move on to the wide receivers and just take a look at the futility that has been these Carolina Panthers. Yes, we're pointing and laughing and feeling good and better about ourselves. I think we deserve it, basically, because we had to watch the Panthers. I did a video last year in our feed, and you can find it if you look for the shorts, where I was trying to be nice. I basically said the Panthers are going to be the most boring team in football. And I mean, that's pretty accurate, but train wrecks are not that boring. So in a way, it was kind of fascinating to see Bryce Young try and scratch and claw. Now, back to the wide receivers. I'll give him some credit for this recent transaction with Deontay Johnson. That is a pretty good starting point. There's a guy who can line up anywhere. He can win against anything. Hopefully he's a happy camper, because I think he had a little bit of an attitude issue there with the Steelers. I think that might be one of the reasons why he's no longer here. But let's take a look at some of these other names, because it fits the bill in terms of being nasty. Cam Sims, Jordan Matthews. What are we doing here? It's 2024. Jalen Camp, thought he was out of the league like 5 years. Michael Strahan, that guy, don't call me Strahan. Des Patman, they keep signing all these total like never beens. Shy Smith, next time when you're considering drafting someone by the name of Shy, consider an alternative, I guess. That's not a good thing. Demir Bird, Javon Wims. I thought Jonathan Mingo was a pretty good pick. We'll see. It's early, but the results are quite poor. Of course, they had DJ Moore here, but all these other names. What do we do in 2022 signing Robbie Anderson? The guy already at that point been a little bit of a journeyman, right? Somebody named Rashawn Henry, Keith Kirkwood. Oh, I forgot Laviska Shenault, who I never liked, never thought he was going to pan out, and he was terrible. No surprise. Andre Roberts, said wide receiver. He was like 36 years old. I know he's a return man and all that. I mean, we can continue here. These names are Alex Erickson, Willie Snead, Castoffs, Neverbins, David Moore, Steve Sullivan, somebody named Ishmael Hyman. I mean, you can't make this up. These names here. Moving on to tight end, and not to be mean here, but you got to call something out once in a while when it's just so bad. It's so bad it's good. But how about Tommy Tremble? We got to sign that guy. We got to draft him. One of the most annoying players in fantasy. Of course, 2 years ago, we had to re-sign Ian Thomas. I mean, the guy catches 1.1 passes per game if he's lucky, but we got to lock him up, as they did in February 2022. Danny Arnold. We had a Tommy Tremble and a Tommy Stevens. on this team. Uh, Colin Thompson, Seth Devolve. I mean, can we get anyone who's done anything here to Marek Hemingway? I mean, that's not that long ago, 2020. So we'll end it there as we have really, of course, they had Greg Olson, but that was a long, long time ago. He was released in 2020, but there it is, laying it out for you. But let's encapsulate everything and go right back to our guy Scott Barrett's tweet and take a look at combining the Brian Burns, Bryce Young, and Christian McCaffrey trades and what they gave up in terms of rights. Now, we should also say that before the 2022 season, the Panthers reportedly had this big offer from the LA Rams, 2 number 1 picks, one in 2024 and one in 2025, and a second round pick in 2025 that they reportedly turned down. Now, okay, that said, here's what they traded away in the Brian Burns, Bryce Young, McCaffrey trades. 2024 pick 1.01, aka Caleb Williams, Mr. Christian McCaffrey, Mr. DJ Moore, a 2023 round 1 pick, top 10, a 2023 round 2 pick, a 2024 round 1 pick, and a 2025 round 1 pick in exchange for a 1-year rental of Brian Burns, maybe 1.5 years. Bryce Young, whose rookie campaign was a complete disaster, and he may already have been shell shocked, and he might be ruined. I don't want to be dramatic there, but the O-line, by the way, was so horribly coached and so poor right out of the gate, and it never got any better. So that's a problem. They also got outside linebacker DJ Johnson, who was PFF's 125th highest graded edge rusher. I believe 126 was Adam Kaplan of Fantasy Points and other outlets. And then they also got 2 round 5 picks. Wow, just absolutely surreal. It's just so bad that I know a lot of people are talking about it. I figured I would chime in. I do hear good things about Dan Morgan, the new general manager. Of course, we all remember him as a player. He was a badass player at linebacker there for the Carolina Panthers. He's made some good moves early on, seemingly the Deontay Johnson move. But, his hands have been somewhat tied here. So it is going to be an uphill battle for Dan Morgan and these Carolina Panthers. And hopefully for them, Dave Canales is him, basically, because you're trying to catch lightning in a jar with a young quarterback who's not really proven, but by the time he gets proven, maybe you don't get a crack at him. So they're taking a shot here with Canales. He did a great job in Seattle with Geno Smith, simplifying everything, defining everything for Geno, coaxed a career year out of him with 30 touchdowns, which got him the Tampa Bay job. I talked with Rashad White about Dave Canales that off season heading into 2023 and said nothing but really good things about him. And it all kind of played out, but he only is a player coach who's done play calling for 1 year. And it was pretty good. It was good. I don't know if it was genius or fantastic. So hopefully though, it is a sign of things to come because he has had success. Canales has in 2 consecutive stops here over the last 2 years, but it is a tough hill to climb, as I said, for these Carolina Panthers, but it won't be a tough hill for you to climb if you continue liking and subscribing and consuming all the great content here at fantasypoints.com.